Yo there. So on December 1st, I managed to do 55 pounds of 15 millimeters, three finger drag for 10 seconds. And then fast forward to like December 13th, I managed to do 110 pounds off 15 millimeters for 10 seconds. Quick math dictates that that's a plus 200% in terms of finger strength for 55 pounds if you want to use numbers. Now, obviously, 55 pounds in 12 days is a bit absurd, so let me try to make it make sense. First off, I train open hand and three finger drag. And the open hand is very similar to three finger drag. And my open hand, in terms of my PR, is 120 pounds off 15 millimeters for 10 seconds. And it must have taken my body about 12 days to acclimate my three finger drag to my four finger open, because during all that time, I have been doing a shit ton of four finger open work. And that must have translated very well to my three finger open drag. But regardless, 55 pounds is still 55 pounds in 12 days, which I think is great. So good job, me. And in this video, I like to go over 10 things that I really focus on or think about when I do my hangboarding workouts. Without any further ado, here we go. Number one, always go as heavy as possible. Now, for me personally speaking, I always try to go as heavy as possible, or as heavy as my body will allow me to go. So sometimes this will result in me doing approximately 15 sets of weighted hangs, because if I go in and I have a plan of doing 100 pounds, I do 100 pounds, but my body still feels adequate, I'll tack on another 10 pounds. If I could do 110 pounds, I'll continue so on and so forth until my fingers are literally incapable of doing any more weight. And doing it this way is how I basically hit all my PRs, and surprisingly, my fingers feel fantastic working that method. But on days where I don't feel so great, of course, obviously I don't end up doing like 15 sets. I end up doing more like just my warm-up sets and then my three working sets, which may result in total approximately 8 to 10 sets instead. Therefore, it's a very instinctual, if my body wants to play hard, I'll make it play hard. Number two, it's all about effort for me. Not every day can be excellent, so I always focus on the effort I'm exerting as opposed to the weight that I'm hanging. The way I like to say it is, in every single workout in my working sets, I'm looking for a maximum effort of 100%. Now, the weight is simply a means for me to bring forth that effort. So while I may go in with a idea that I'm gonna hang 3 sets at 100 pounds, in reality, what I'm really telling myself is 100 pounds will probably bring forth 3 sets of maximum effort from my point of view. Number 3, hang it twice. Sometimes when I hang a weight and I want to move up, but I'm not sure if I should, because I'm not sure my body's 100% ready, I'll hang the same weight twice. Because for me, I come to the realization that if I'm hanging a lot of weight that day, that it's going to take me a lot of sets to warm up to it. And no matter how many warm-up sets I take, it doesn't really hurt my overall top set of the day, so long as the jumps are correct. And if I try to go too quickly, that has often hurt me more than it has benefited me. So if I'm doing 100 pounds that day, it might take me 5 to 6 sets to warm up to 100 pounds. And if I try to chop it down to just 3 sets, then that will greatly hurt my hang when I get to 100 pounds. I'll probably fail it, honestly. But if I take my time and add in like just 10-pound jumps or 15-pound jumps, make it nice and really incremental, by the time I get to 100 pounds, my body's nice and warmed up. But sometimes that may mean that I may have to hang the same weight twice in order for me to add on another 10 to 15 pounds. So for me, I'm taking this very slow and steady. I'm never rushing it, and I'm just listening to my body, making sure it feels nice and awake for when the time comes for me to hang the heaviest weight that I'm gonna hang. Number 4 is 2 grips. Now, when it comes to me training my fingers, I have recently started training 2 grips. In this case, it's 4 finger open, my predominant one, and 3 finger drag, my secondary one. The way I see it is, you should train your strongest weapons that you plan to use when you're climbing. Therefore, the training that you do for, say, your plan A and your plan B will be very applicable, because when you climb, you're always using either plan A or plan B. Not to mention, it gives a little bit of variance to your finger strength, and it's fun to compare your finger grips against each other. I think that's just a little bit stimulating and kind of like a little fun mini game for me while I'm training. Also, it also has the added benefit that one day, one grip may be stronger than the other grip, which is a very interesting thing to think about and view. Number 5, different edge sizes. Training on different edge sizes exposes your fingers to different edge sizes, just like how they are exposed to different edge sizes like when you are climbing, which makes it pretty applicable, I would say. For me, I personally really enjoy using 20 mil, 15 mil, and 10 mil, and I'll change it based off of the exercise and the day that I am hangboarding. Like if I just do one arm work, max isometrics, I would just hang off a 20 millimeter because I'm not that strong and I can't, do 10 or 15. But some days I'll exclusively hang off of 15 millimeters when I do my weighted hangs. And then on other days, I'll exclusively hang off of 10 millimeters when I do my weighted hangs. This just adds a nice bit of variance and variety. Not to mention, I'm not constantly on the same folds of skin. Number 6, hangboarding is more important than climbing. Right now, I'm allocating all my energy into training. This is why on my first day of training, I'll hangboard for approximately 2 hours. If I want to get really good at this, I realize I can't just allocate 20 to 30 minutes at the end of a session or at the start of a session. I have to treat it like a legitimate workout. Now, I come from a background of picking shit up and putting it back down, which means you hit the same muscle group twice a week and you hit it very hard. And on those workouts, you're going to do multiple exercises, multiple sets for the same muscle group with just slight variance in it. And that workout may take anywhere from approximately 1 to 2 hours. In my case, it's going to be 2 hours for my fingies. And therefore, working out that way has proven time after time to yield excellent results. Think about push-pull legs, but just fingers, other shit, fingers. And the thing that I really like about hangboarding as opposed to climbing for stronger fingers is hangboarding is very measurable, it's consistent, and it's very controlled, as opposed to climbing is not exactly the most measurable, not exactly the most controlled, and it's definitely not the most consistent way of training. But it is fun climbing. Honestly, I'm having a little bit more fun hangboarding nowadays for X, Y, and Z reasons. Number 7, focus on yourself. There's really no need to compare yourself to other people because at the end of the day, you are the most important person to your training plan. I will hope so. As long as you improve from week to week, month to month, year to year, nothing else really matters. I've gotten into the headspace that my progress means more to me than you being better than me, even though you don't train as hard or you just started climbing, which at times can be a little bit frustrating. But at the end of the day, we really don't know everyone's story because they're normally training when nobody's looking. Honestly, that's how the story typically goes. 8, consistency. I don't think I need to explain why consistency is important, but let me explain why consistency is important. Let's say there's a version A and version B of you. Version A hits 100% of their hangboarding session. Version B hits 80%. In a climbing competition, who are you choosing is the better climber? Obviously version A. I like to think that every session you miss is you chiseling how great you can possibly be as a climber. But if you hit 100% of all your sessions, then you maximize 100% of as good of a climber as you can possibly be in your lifetime. So I think consistency is very important, and I really don't shrug off missed sessions when I miss them. In fact, I do not miss sessions, so yeah. Except when I'm sick, which happens like once every 10,000 years. Totally sucks. Number 9, the goal. Now the goal is very important. The goal is actually very important to me, and that is the reason why I'm more focused into training. For me, my goal is this one dumb problem called Humpty Hump. It's a V10. Completely ridiculous. I dropped 19 sessions on it already. But when I'm training, I'm hanging on the board for 10 seconds because this project of mine takes about 10 seconds to climb. I'm using 15 millimeter and 10 millimeter edges because it has really small holds. I'm going open hand because I'm using open hand when I'm climbing this boulder project. You can see that my goals or my training plan and the exercises I choose are very similar to my boulder problem. Therefore, if you have a strong enough goal, and it doesn't need to be a meaningful goal, because for me, Humpty Hump is not like a grand goal of mine or anything, it's just the next thing I'm working on. Therefore, I'll cater everything around it. And periodically, I will go session Humpty Hump after, say, 1 to 2 weeks of training, just to make sure that I know that my training is heading in the correct direction. If it is, I just continue. If it's not, I'll readjust. And that's how I use my goal to boost my training. It's a revise and critique, and you know what I'm trying to say here. Monkey see good, monkey continue. Monkey see bad, monkey do not continue. Monkey fix things up, you know, like that. 10, I can be better by training. Sometimes when you climb, it's really hard to see your progress when you're climbing. But when you're training and you have numbers and variables and measurements and exercises that you can clearly see your growth upon, it's very motivating. And statistically speaking, it works. Therefore, the way I see it, if I improve by 10 pounds per year on my weighted hangs, that would take my current best hang of 120 pounds off 15 millimeters for 10 seconds to 170 pounds if 5 years pass, right? 5 years, 10 pounds per year, 50 pounds, 50 plus 120, that's 170 pounds in 5 years. And 10 pounds per year added onto my weighted hang, I don't think that's crazy talk. And in my head, 170 pound version me is vastly way better at climbing and stronger at climbing than 120 pound version of me. And I can see this path. And I can see it working, and I can see how each training session brings me closer to it. And therefore, all I really know is hey, every time an opportunity comes, aka a training session, I just have to hit it with all my heart and soul in order for it to make sense in the long term. Therefore, I can get better by training, and it's very systematic, it's very plain and cut. I like it. Hopefully you glean something from this video. It's a bit unorganized, even though I spent like 10 years trying to script it. If you want to see me talk about more finger strength stuff, I think it's like stronger fingers in 69 days or something like that, you can click this video. I think I'd give it a slightly different take. And if you want to see me do my first V10 ever, it was an indoor V10 on the kilter board. I was so proud of that one. Took me 10 sessions. Here's a video there. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time, partner.